the same as it once was. You feel the echoes in your heart, and you thought of her, 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 and you thought of her. He was alone in the city. Those flashing lights made him dizzy. Whoa, he was alone in the city. He was alone in the city. You lost in love. Another empty life in the city. Lost in love. There's no one to save you. There's no one. He was alone in the city. Those flashing lights made him dizzy. Whoa, he was alone in the city. He was alone in the city. Lost in love. And you thought of her, and you thought of her, and you thought of her.
Voice of Holland is a terrible show. Also,
And that was live on air. We have the confession of Jexus. Hello, everyone. It's amazing when you say 10 seconds till we go that the conversations about the Voice of Holland and Big Brother start.
we get used to this thing where you say something and then we have to listen.
Yeah,
a while.
I know. It's been a while, hasn't it? Just but then again, normally he doesn't listen anyway either. It's good to be back in the middle of a streaming session where we said we wouldn't be, but we are. So fortunately, here we are. Vaynen may or may not be joining us later, but we are all here and ready to go. So how about we do a quick round of introductions and get as much Sprawl in there as we can. How about we try there at Fub at the bottom left? Could you give us a quick introduction?
Hi, I'm Fub. I'm at the bottom left. And in this game, I play Trip, the infiltrator.
That is a very snappy introduction. Huthor, could you let us know who you are?
I am Huthor. I am slightly above Fub. I wear the pants in this relationship. I have Twitch emote pillows. I play web. My life is complete.
The thing I enjoy is that just the kappa is just peeking out just right there. I'm obviously Byronic. If you're here, you don't know me, huh? So welcome. Right there is where Vaynen is supposed to be, but he's off. So that's how he looks in real life.
It fits his playbook, though. He may or may not be there at the right time.
Exactly, yeah.
Turn up when he's needed.
Drop in at any random moment. One over, though, is Alex. Could you give us a quick introduction?
Thanks, Byronic. Yeah, I'm Alex, also findable as fake_Alex_blue on Twitter. And in Ashes to Ashes, Chrome to Rust, which is the name of this fine show that we never use because it's way too long, I am playing Amy Feedback, who is a fixer.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And lastly, we have all the way over there is Jexus, the person who ruins all of this for us.
Hey, I'm the facilitator. Not ruiner of things. Anyway, I'm Jexus Alain. Just Alain, or that guy over there. I'm also findable on the internet, but not sure if you want to, so whatever. We're gonna be playing Ashes to Ashes, Chrome to Rust, which is our campaign of the Sprawl RPG. This one. It's written by a guy named Hamish Cameron. And it's a cyberpunk RPG where the players play characters in a semi-futuristic, well, it's a futuristic world, city called a sprawl. That's a sort of interconnected, interwoven bunch of cities, basically. And characters do missions against major corporations, and the corporations are corporations that we are together made up ourselves, which is one of the cool aspects of this game. This is the part where I say, who wants to do the sort of prologue, except we didn't discuss this, so I'll do it. Last time, which was when Byronic wasn't here, Byronic plays a character called Silence on the Wire. You haven't introduced your character at all. It's so unprofessional.
So unprofessional.
He plays a reporter called Silence, and Silence has been in a bit of trouble with the bosses, basically, due to a news report that has sort of been starting to get its own life, as it were, and spin out of control. As a result, she's been put on traffic duty, basically, report on traffic jams, and maybe a weather report here or there. So Silence wasn't there last time. What did happen, though, was we wanted to start a new mission. And that's pretty cool, except for the fact that Amy Feedback still owed a man. Yeah, you made some promises, and then you disappeared because the heat that you guys accumulated during the last mission was a bit too much. So everyone disappeared, and
The greatest irony is that the asset that we acquired from this person, we didn't even end up using. So,
yeah,
wop,
Yeah.
wop.
I mean, shit happens, right? But this person is called Taki, and he is a black market tech dealer, and he was looking for Amy because she's been gone. She'd been gone for months, I think, a couple of months. People were starting to think that you were dead, basically. You returned, and immediately got news that Taki was looking for you and he was not pleased. So a meeting later, and some threats and some whimsical responses on the part of Amy, a mission started to form. Basically, Taki wants you guys to get rid of a annoying factor.
The Yakuza.
I
The Yakuza.
All right, so
All of
A
the
company-
Yakuza?
oh no no
yeah,
no no, no
Not
that-
all
no,
of the
no,
Yakuza,
no,
but
no.
enough of the Yakuza.
There is a company called Shellway Shipping that does transport for less or more or less clandestine stuff. People like Taki, for instance, and they've been trying to weasel him out of more and more money. Keeping a hold of his cargo, all that sort of stuff. It's been happening to more people, but he's now sort of fed up. And instead of doing something about it himself, he's thought, hey, let's ask Amy, or at least tell Amy to do this because she owes me. The investigators then started looking around, prodding, gathering information, and it turns out that Shaway Shipping was, I wrote this down, right? Yeah, run by a couple of people, 3 people. Someone only known as Baron, a Miss Miko, and a Mr. Blackford. And on top of that, this company is backed heavily by the Yakuza. So instead of taking out this major player, Amy and friends decided that it might be a better idea to just get rid of Taki to solve the problem. Because if there's no Taki, then you don't owe him anymore, right?
So
Taki
when we
has-
say take care of Taki, are we saying take care of Taki or take care of
so-
Taki?
This
Take a look at the Roll20 screen, you can see the directives that we came up with. The idea for now, and this might change because you are now back and maybe can help out with some more legwork if you want to, is to grab all of Taki's stuff. And all of that stuff is fits inside 3 major, sort of shipping containers. You guys have a truck driven by Amy's contacts and friend Kawasumi, I think. Was it Kawasumi?
That's right, Kawasumi.
Yeah. Who came up with this truck? Except this truck only fits 2 containers because that's the kind of asshole I am. So something needs
But
to be
also
done.
'cause shipping containers are huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the reason. Yeah.
yeah. I thought maneuverability and stuff, but yeah, there you.
Basically, 2 containers is what a huge truck is right now. Like we're talking
Yeah.
18-wheeler.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So the plan is you steal that stuff and sort of make it look like you guys had nothing to do with it, sell all of his stuff, and make sure that Taki is no longer an issue.
Yep. Run him out of business.
Run him out of business.
And then hopefully, maybe because he's no longer pulling anything in, the Yakuza no longer has any reason to keep him around, and they'll just pew themselves.
I mean, it's a solid plan, right, Silence? I see no flaw in this at all.
For one, ethically, we're just killing him then, basically. We're just not
No,
pulling
no,
the
no,
trigger.
no, no.
No,
No,
we're
no.
putting him in a position to be killed by other less reputable people.
No. We're just putting him out of business.
That's right. Which is,
He's hassling us. We put him out of business.
I mean,
That's it.
in retrospect, it seems a little bit harsh. Like we. Okay,
I mean, I'm presenting this. I'm presenting this like Taki asked you gently, but he threatened your
that's true.
brother.
He did not ask you
He
gently. He
threatened you.
threatened your brother.
He made sure that you knew that if you didn't do this, a lot of bad stuff would happen. So he's not a nice man. He's
He
It's
was,
kind of horrible.
yeah,
He is,
no,
yeah.
he was threatening us, and he was also quite happy to let us tangle with and probably get horribly butchered, if not now, later, by the Yakuza. So he was quite happy to sell us down the river. So as far as I'm concerned, that ship can go that way is for him. That got away from
Also,
me.
I said
You
I
get
said
my meaning.
ties with the Yakuza, but Xiaowei Shipping also has ties with Camarilla, Camarilla Unlimited, the Russian South American casino and gun running business.
The
Here's
major
the
link
thing I'm
to
thinking,
crime.
though. In general, large criminal organizations are not that happy when they find out they've been played. So, I see the hopeful goal of make it look like you had nothing to do with it. But if they discover this, well, the image I can paint of that can't be repeated in public conversation. So,
Well, that's the thing is that Taki is relatively small time. He gets his stuff through the big corporations. So the choice for us was either tangle with the big corps or at least the big organizations, whether or not they're official, in the hopes of getting Taki off our back, or tangle with small timer Taki with hopes that we don't piss off anybody else. which
Imagine
we
this.
most likely
Imagine
would
this,
do.
Silence. You have a corporation that specializes in shipping and basically runs the entire shipping industry. And if you're not shipping through them, then they'll make sure you'll ship through them, called Mitsuhan, right? Mitsuhan does not want to tangle with Xiaowei Shipping. That should say something. That should
So we
be
don't
in-
want to tangle with that either.
Mhm.
And if our objective is to get Taki off our back, then it's easier to deal with Taki than with Xiaowei shipping.
Mhm.
So
fair enough. Fair
that's
enough.
what we're going to do.
So what we established,
You're muted, Alex.
still muted?
I was just thinking, this sounds like the Hitman level where, you cut the rope and the container falls on the person and, whoop, shipping accident.
No. So what we established, what we established is that this, this sort of black market tech dealership type thing. Taki has a spot there with his 3 containers, but there's multiple vendors, and it's sort of in the dock area, like a sort of compound with a gate and a lot of containers where people just sell their stuff. Right, it's all sort of cheap. And Webb, found out that there was a giant shipping crane there that you could use to lift said containers onto.
Entirely automated, and it's like
Yeah.
it's in the case where like the entire compound is like the roof, or like it's encased by this crane system where it's a crane that like can go horizontally or vertically
Mhm.
anywhere you want.
Yeah,
in
and you can sort of
compound-
twist
on
it and
top of,
turn it.
yeah, on top of this compound. So the idea is that
So the compound itself is like a giant carnival game with a descending claw.
essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we established that Taki has about 6 heavily armed people with him at all times, or at least at the site, and that he was not going to be there on the night that you were going to do this. There probably will be more people there, just other guards and other security for other parties there. But that's the idea. So you have the truck, you have the driver, you have a crane, and you know that there's heavily armed security on site.
So, if Taki's not going to be there, could we just figure out where Taki is going to be? Because if none of his security is there, isn't it easier just to sneak up behind him at a urinal, put a knife to his throat, and just go? No more
Yeah,
trouble,
sure.
right?
But where's your payout?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Slavery?
I think the entire idea here was that you wouldn't directly assassinate Taki, because that always, the people will always find out.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
So
fair
the
enough.
idea, I mean, we'll see. It's play to find out. We'll see what happens. The idea is that someone else will take care of Taki.
People
Right?
care a lot less about bloody money than they care about bloody paving stones.
But so the way we handled this last week is that we had you guys gather at the what do we call it, the HK Exotic Pet Store, and in the seedy back room with the round table and all the sort of like
I just love
maps
that
and
idea of
stuff
just,
rolled out.
sorry, like having an owl and having the owl turn around, and this is just a complete bionic eye. Just
Yeah, exactly. So the legwork sort of consisted of you guys sort of saying like, well, we need this, and then flashing back or flashing forward to your sort of legwork scene, and then coming back to the room and discussing the stuff, and then going out and doing the more stuff. So that's where we are now, and with you not being there last week, we'll just sort of ignore all that, and you've been there all the time. You've just been there all along, or you can just walk in at some point saying, "Look, I don't know." That's fine, but we're still in the legwork phase. Wow, English talking, it's difficult. Still in the legwork phase. Until you guys decide, now we know how to do this. This is what we're going to do.
We had a general idea, I think, of how we wanted to proceed and what we wanted to do. We hadn't officially declared the end of the legwork phase.
Yeah. Also, another thing, Silence, you don't know this as a character, but as a player, it's very interesting to know that Trip is kind of a weird man. he likes to stalk a person called Margaret, who works for Mitsuhan.
I think stalking is probably mischaracterizing it. He's just got continuing.
Look, he was not pleased with his presence. She made him promise not to contact her again, and then he said yes, sure, and then he sent her a nice bundle of flowers.
Yeah, but that's just how they work, though.
Shall
That's
we
their
say that
dynamic.
Trip just enjoys expressing his affection in alternative channels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just so you know.
You
I
know?
thought that was an interesting
Hey,
tip.
It's like the elderly couple. It's like the elderly couple across the street who you only ever hear yelling at each other and spewing the most horrid venom. But then when they leave the house to go to the grocery store, they're always holding hands. Yeah, that's what it
Exactly.
is.
No,
So-
and she asked me not to contact her, so I sent the flowers instead of bringing them myself. So
Oh god, that
Right.
reminds me so much of a friend of mine. Totally an aside, but after a really nasty breakup, like her ex, like she was like really clear with him, like, look, fuck off. Like don't bother like getting in touch with me. I don't want anything to do with you ever again. And for like just before Christmas, he sent her a letter that he obviously hand delivered. Together
Written in
with
his own blood.
together with like some book that he borrowed or some pathetic thing that like no one cares about, and was like, yeah, I just wanted to say that you asked me not to be in touch with you, and I've only done that 3 times this year. Like it's like one of them was
it's
like,
it's
when
only
he
3
got
times.
phone-
It doesn't count.
Okay,
Oh wow, yeah.
but you're not getting it, are you?
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
Trip.
So that's
Um,
Trip.
I have an idea what Science is going to do. Now that Science is finally off the editor's shit list and she doesn't have to be in traffic reporting anymore and, can breathe oxygen rather than just pure smog, her nose for the story can work again. And she's got an idea. This is going to be a triptych about just trade and economy. And the first of the 3 stories is going to be trade on the floor, like on the streets. So she is going in with a nose for the story and basically starting a small report of the container area, which, involves her just going from stall to stall, eating the dubious noodle dish on the side and trying to talk to the well, really new agey, container down there where they make the hand woven nonsense and looks at holographic dream catchers and just basically tries to sort of to walk around, get a real sense of the area.
Right.
I believe what I
So,
do.
I just broadcast it for you.
Oh, yeah, you just already did that. Okay, sorry.
That's fine. You can do it.
At the start of mission, I will roll edge. There's no forward, so we roll.
How edgy are you?
9, that's how edgy I am, which means that I gain 1 hold for the mission, which allows me to do one of a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to hold on to that for when we need it.
Yeah. All right.
There I go. There we go.
That is cool.
Because I believe that that's sort of the idea that we're going for, right? Where we do just the setup now, and then later on when we need it, that's when we get the flashback of, oh, but I remember seeing the code to this door.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah,
unless during the process of legwork where you think of something. Oh wait, this could be a thing I spent because I got a hold because I did my call on a contact or whatever it's called move.
Yeah.
Clara contact.
That's the one, and I used my hold to wish the crane into existence. So that was my hold
Yes.
spent.
Yeah. So Webb contacted a fellow hacker called Twitch, which is basically he's basically Webb, but sort of the mirrored version of him.
Yeah, he's got like spiky blue dyed hair. He's like slightly Asian, but other than that, exactly the same. Like big trench coat, glasses, trying to think that he's like
So where Webb
way
is
cooler than he is.
in sort of hacking the Matrix, Twitch
Oh,
is a prodigy in
yes.
gadgetry and drones, and he provided the video sort of footage with his drone of the entire complex for like 48 hours, I think. So that's a lot of that stuff you guys use to plan.
And I think at that point, I think it was Trip spent the time researching it and going over the footage. And
I have 1 hold from assess.
Yeah, exactly. And we also established that as a result of your contact with Twitch also needs your help with something.
Mhm.
And maybe that will come into play during the mission. We'll see.
So this campaign is threatening to become a cascade or a chain of missions wherein we help or in this case take out our contacts. When we asked them for a favor for the previous one.
I mean, it depends, right? I thought it'd be interesting to just look at this now, and if it turns out to become a thing where a lot of contacts need you to do something, then we'll just do those packaged operations. You can conduct an operation to just get sort of narratively wrap it up. So that would be fine. You also, I'm just looking at my notes, Webb. In your search through the Matrix, you met a girl called Cosmic, COSM1C, who needed help with was it again? I think it was the
it
religion
was
called,
it was something to do with Praise Be. That's
Yeah.
why it flagged up on my system.
exactly.
And I was skeptical at first because anything to do with them weirds me the hell out. I'm always interested in doing something to screw those guys over, but yeah. And then I tried to do a little bit of background checking, but maybe I was a bit emotionally compromised, perhaps, or something along those lines. But I screwed up enough that I was sitting there, on the holographic displays doing all the business, and then suddenly it all closed down with a big, text thing that came up and says, "We found you, Webb." At that point, pulled the cord, grabbed all my shit, and ran down the corridor screaming, "Bishop!"
So yeah.
Yeah, that's not happened before, so...
I guess we're pretty much ready to go then, really.
Yeah, I just I took a look through your moves, Silence, because we haven't seen you that much. Just to get a feel for what you can do.
Yeah, I was thinking about press pass, but that move is a little bit. Let me put that on for people. That move is a little bit ambiguous, if you ask me. Because the other ones, the gather evidence, is absolutely for getting a story out there, the specific reporter mechanic. And live and on the air is for during the mission to get out of trouble. I think this is the only other one that's a little bit ambiguous and makes me wonder exactly when to use it.
I mean, you can use it during legwork and you can use it during the mission itself. It'll get you in. And the reason that you advance the legwork clock is because you reveal your true persona, right? You reveal who you are. So there's no lying there. It's just you, which means that people find out that you were there, which is what the legwork
that
clock
makes sense.
No, but I was also looking at how stories and noise work, and I think if at any point you decide that this is going to be a story, and then this is sort of whatever you feel should be a story, then you can use that move that you just did, nose for a story.
Well, actually,
but
that's what you used to hold for.
Yeah, exactly. So if you think, right, this could be interesting for me as a character or for us as a thing to explore, you could create a story out of that and then delve into that further. The more we play, just as an aside.
No, but I like that. It's a way to create long-term narrative, because from what I understand, I can use nose for a story again and again and again, but then I'd have to argue how the new thing, the other mission we're going into, actually connects to this one and create the conspiracy.
Yeah. So the only rule here is that you can only do it at the start of a mission, right? That's the only thing. All right. So yeah. Let's have a look at the directives. See if you feel that they make sense, and if they don't, we can change them. I feel the final two are sort of that's just what you set out to do, basically. So you want to sell his stuff and make sure he's no longer an issue. Whether that means that someone else takes care of him or that you in the end still have to take care of him, we'll find out. But I think that's the overall goal. The first one, decide on how to do it, makes sense, I think. But maybe the second and the third one.
Isn't the second basically the intention behind it once we gain possession of his stock?
Yes. Yes. I didn't want to phrase it when you steal Taki's stock, because there's other ways to deal with it, right? You can also dump it in the water if you want. Or you can destroy it, you can blow it up, because there's 3 containers and only space for 2, right? So you're going to need to do something with the third one. So that's why it's phrased like this.
Although we could still phrase it somewhat like that in saying, when we've gained control of Taki's stock.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's legit as well.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
I mean, when we have control of it, then he is presumably separated from it as well. So.
And then we can still decide, do we go for the extra XP and try to sell it, or do we take the easy way out and dump it?
Yeah. And make it look like you had nothing to do with it, sort of relates to how you want to deal with him not being an issue anymore.
Because the idea is that we get out of this without having our faces painted everywhere.
And if if he can no longer continue trading, he's not likely to be an issue. Like, he doesn't need to be dead. He can just be.
The only reason why he's a thing anyway is because he's being propped up by, Yeah.
Without his business and without the problem that he has with his shipping company, there's no Taki, right? He can't pay people to do shit for him. Maybe he's got some connections, some people owe him some favors, but not a fixer.
Yeah, and if he comes to us to deal with Xiaowei, then that means that he basically is desperate and has nowhere else to turn. So I don't think
Yeah, I think the way he presented it the last time was there's more people here and there's more people who deal with them and they're sort of fed up, but they don't really want to do anything about it or are too scared to do anything about it because of the fallout. And then that's why he uses you because you're just disposable.
actually,
Reagents.
in a weird kind of way, we're terrible people, right? Like we should be fighting the underground equivalent of a class action lawsuit and like trying to unite these group of oppressed peoples who are being screwed over by a corporation. Instead, we're just like, oh, so you're a victim of extortion. Bad luck. Here, let me just hurt you further.
Yeah, well, like I said, he didn't give you much of
Well,
an
it's
much of
well, it's one of those common themes that you see a lot in like the cyberpunk things, isn't it? It's where it's a lot of time you see them sort of err towards maybe in this age of like giant mega corporations who screw everybody over but do so technically legally because they're the people who control what is and isn't legal. Is crime, like organized crime, at least in some ways there's a little bit of a code of honor, kind of mafia style, like there's other rules rather than just faceless soulless big fat cats in suits at the top of ivory towers. It's like what's the better or worse thing here?
I mean, also, I think it makes sense where you have all powerful sort of entities at the top that the people below that and the sort of crews and gangs below that start fighting amongst themselves because you're never going to win against the big ones, so you might as well get whatever you can.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah, and actually, life is like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're being hyper realistic
Well,
right now.
that was the stream. See ya.
So yeah, are you guys clear on how to approach the
Yeah.
mission? Okay.
Think so?
I remember now.
In that case, mark XP. And then we're gonna start the action.
I'm assuming that counts for Bishop as well.
Get what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll be marking his XP. I'll do that now.
How much?
And
do you-
when do we gain a level at 10 XP?
I think it's at 10.
How much have other people got now? I just want to double check.
Bishop has
7.
has 9.
Bishop has
Seven.
9.
Yeah, but he's got 9 because he
Yeah.
marked XP because of getting paid.
Personal directives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got. I think Bishop has the most XP. I think I have the second most.
What do you have, Web?
I have 8.
Okay, so 7 is really realistic for me. That makes
Mhm.
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I think it's literally just the case. Bishop has 9, I have 8, and the rest should.
Yeah, and Webb got 1 for getting that little bit of extra stuff.
Yeah,
during
the
the
last mission, the little bit of like thing for praise be in the
Yeah.
altered
exactly.
Vista systems,
Okay.
because that was one of my directives. So I go and
advancement.
that.
Let's see.
I
You
think
need-
basically the
10
game should be set up in a way that you complete a mission every single session, right? Now you get XP for every single sort of ish.
Ideally,
I've
in my
seen it.
experience.
Yeah, I've seen it where like you just abandon the mission-based structure and just play a sprawling narrative that goes on across multiple sessions. And okay, sometimes you'll get paid, but like whether
and
it's a mission or not.
It's also like Blades in the Dark does this as well, where you have mission downtime, and that at one point that's useful to do at first because it helps you get used to the rules, but at some point it just starts sort of melding together and merge into one thing. I think that's what's going to happen here. So you decided how to handle the mark, so to speak.
Mhm. Oh, the only thing that I haven't done is I can still declare another contact. I've declared one. Have I? I don't think I've declared any. Truthfully.
You declared.
I seem to remember that you did. No, you did because you didn't. You getting hold of the truck, did that not count?
I don't
That
think
was
so.
an existing contact.
Was that
That-
okay?
Yeah, because I made a roll for it for sure. Would have been hit the street, I guess.
Yeah.
It's when you go to a contact for, I think it's hit the street. But no, I've got two like contact roles because I know people, right?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead whenever you feel like you need to contact someone. Yeah,
and the
you and Silence still have a contact to contact.
yeah, the obvious thing that we're missing is we don't have a fence, and we kind of want someone lined up who can sell this stuff.
Yeah.
Before we have two shipping containers full of like hot property.
You'd also need somebody who could swear that, it was the Crips or the Bloods or whoever it is.
No, it literally fell off a truck.
You mean someone who starts spreading around false information?
Could do that as well.
Well, I mean, if we're looking for and find a fence, I don't think that really matters because they're a fence, and that's sort of what they do. They don't care where it comes from.
Yeah.
Well, I think Silence would be in a good position to set up a sort of false rumor,
Like a rumor
campaign,
mill, yeah.
fake news.
I mean, if we wanted to spin
Oh.
it, so yeah.
I guess that would be it, yeah, that there be an exciting report about, increased gang activity in the harbor area where apparently there's been a black market there.
So that would be you using your hold, then, I guess, right? Or is-
What I'm thinking is that would be using the hold from my nose for a story to start a story clock, and then basically every advancement would maybe be a thing. I don't know. Although that's getting double advantage. That's both getting a story
I mean,
and
I think if you want to sort of spin this and create a fake news story, you'd need to maybe declare a contact within your news agency to help you out with that.
can I just declare a
Maybe.
contact like that though? Because normally,
it's a
everybody
yeah,
else
everyone
uses a
do it
move for
once
that.
per mission, I think.
Apart from Amy, who gets
Yeah.
to do it like
6,000 times a mission.
yeah, just like all the time ever.
I mean, and when you have the contacts, you can just contact them whenever you want. But
Oh yeah, there we go. Declare a contact. We need to call in a favor from a new contact. Name and describe the contact. Say why the contact owes you a favor or why you owe them a favor.
Yeah.
Okay. Wants permission. Let's see. I'd imagine it'd have to be something like Max Bergman, like the sort of like the second mentor. You know how they're when Amy got into the news business, there was the real mentor, the person who taught her how to do things, how to say silence. I'm thinking, wait, Amy, what? I was literally just reading your name just now. Yeah, she was being trained by like the old hand who teaches her how to write stories, how to find leads, etc., etc. So the one who taught her how to play by the book. But then, of course, there was the second mentor, the guy who sort of the slick, greasy guy who gets all his stories published, whereas her real mentor writes the important stories, but they're on page 8. Well, if you still had pages in newspapers. And that guy knows how to spin a story. That guy knows how to make it seem like Spider-Man's a bad guy. That kind of a person.
right.
So he writes tabloid clickbait, basically.
Pretty much absolute clickbait. Just literally, you wouldn't believe what X and so has so and so has done.
Okay. So he works. He sort of did he mentor you in any way, or is it just like the guy that and you just know that you need to go to him if you want to do this kind of stuff.
I think he sort of mentored. It's that the position that Sans was in, where she was sort of stuck between those paths, and she still hasn't decided, will I become the ethical reporter or will I become the successful reporter? And she's still
Right,
sort of
yeah.
stuck
Okay.
between the two.
And does he owe you, or do you owe him? Why would he do this for you? Because you're basically asking him to lie completely, fully, 100%, and
Well,
arguably not even give him a reason for doing so.
I think Silence owes him. This is basically Silence throwing him a story which will work, which will be interesting, which will pay off. This is
Right.
sort of her, I'd love to write about this, but fine, twist it to your evil ends.
And why do you owe him?
Because Silence in the past, when she just started out, was so eager to get a good story. She tried to find something. She thought she was onto something about some, like this, not a CEO, like a chair of a good corporation, just a small sort of community. Thought she had the dirt on him, and either they made it all disappear or she was completely jumping at conclusions, but it turned out to be just nonsense.
She didn't check her sources.
Exactly. And he took the fall. He was like, "Nope, I told her to do this. I gave her all the links. I gave her all the contacts. It's my fault." For no reason other than he knew that she would be indebted to him.
Okay. And now your story is, I'm going to pay off this debt by giving him another fake story.
He doesn't know it's fake.
No, I'm just want to establish that that's
Look,
what you do.
news is news.
This is true.
News is
and-
news.
All right.
Like,
Why
don't
don't
let
you
truth
let's-
get in the way? You know.
let's just why don't you
See what happens.
visit Max or call him or whatever. Let's have a scene there and see whether he will help.
Okay.
that's,
I think the most classic thing to do would be coffee at some kind of like the real annoying, the future equivalent of Starbucks. The
I think so. Okay, yeah.
Bar Stucks.
bar stocks. Really?
Can we have what's this? What is this? I wrote this down like a milkshake bar. Was it Milkmaid and Butlers? I wrote.
Oh,
down.
that was me.
I can't
That was
remember.
it was like a cyberpunk boba tea place where I met Twitch.
All right, yeah, okay.
Because we're both like super awful wannabe spy weeblords who think that we're super
Let's
cool.
just call. You
no.
know what? We should
I'm
call
thinking more Frasier style, like the Cafe Nervosa, that kind of a place.
Let's just call it Bean Stars with a Z.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Does that work?
So yeah,
we could get something else in there. Doesn't fit.
Could be like bean counters with a bit of tongue in cheek.
bean counters, because they all it's one of those retro coffee joints where they all dress like people from the movie Network, or just literally it's like that hipster aesthetic where they sort of call back, but in bean counters they all dress in that sort of retro office getup.
Mm-hmm. Sort of the golden age of Wall Street kind of thing.
That look, exactly.
Why don't you just call it Daily Grind and be done with it?
The Daily Grind, that actually, it's the coffee shop just across from the paper.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Okay.
But yeah,
yeah. So it's the typical middle of the day bad weather sprawl that we have here, and I imagine that we haven't given your news network a name, and I just did, and we're just gonna call it News Network United to make it as bland as possible. It's probably like sort of what you call the downtown area in a standard city. And it's a fairly, your network is fairly big.
It's one of those
and it
huge
has-
high rises.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could call it something a little bit more snazzy than that. I mean, sure, give it like, I don't know, call it like the Daily Download or something. you know.
It depends on what sort of. Yeah, I think we need Silence's input on this, and sort of depends on what kind of news network you're working for. If it's like the sort of CNN type network that sort of handles all the big stories and does global news, etc., then that wouldn't work, I guess. And if it's a more sort of God, what's it called again? I can't.
No, it's like
One of
it's
the
for
online
this
news.
metropolis, for this sprawl. Sort of, it's not so much.
Yeah.
Not so
Alright,
much
okay.
It's a
global,
Daily
but
Planet, Daily Bugle kind of thing.
Sort of like a bit lower in scale.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like something with feed or
Feed
Or no.
32, just like
Like a channel name, yeah.
it's
No,
almost like a channel. 'Cause it
Or
is.
it'd be like one of those classic websites where they're trying to get back to the truth of the story, so they call it something like "Eyes on the Street" or just something,
Yeah.
cheesy
Also,
like that.
maybe in that case, it's like you work for like BBC Watchdogs, right? So it's actually part of a larger corporation, but you're like the get to the heart of it insider kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're like the subfloor, but the basement floor of the actual news agency that's profitable. We're like
Yeah.
the hipster sort of thing. Like we need this niche audience, so yeah, that'd be it.
But what I was looking at something else. What are we gonna call it?
I kind of like Feed 32 for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's this sort of slight drizzle. It's not. You can't really call it rain, but when you go outside, you get wet, right? It's a bit weird. And I imagine the daily grind of being some like the corner store coffee shop, like real retro with a revolving door, and the copper handlebars on the door as well, and no neon sign. No, it's just like an old-fashioned sign where it's just like a coffee grinder, and with a green background and a sort of like a chrome coffee grinder. And inside, it's this really low light, sort of like almost cafe type thing, with booths, and there's a bar with a barista, and like dressed in that typical sort of retro
Just
fancy dress.
just sleeves like up,
Yeah,
folded up.
and it wouldn't. It's completely out of place from where you just came from, because I imagine Feed 32 being this hyper stylized sort of thing where everything's neon, there's screens everywhere, and people are wearing the sort of like the weirdest stuff that you can imagine, right?
Holographic ticker tape, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And I think you see Max sitting at like the second booth on the side, with his face towards the door so you can see who's coming in. What does Max Bergman look like?
I'd say that stereotypical older looking gentleman, very very lined face, graying at the temples. One of those sort of more bulky, not fat, but just sort of bulky and white type of characters, just hunching
Heavyset.
over a coffee, just
So is he like the sleazy reporter, or is he fairly respectable in his looks, in what he's wearing?
I'd say he's the type of character who wants to look good, but let himself go with age.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we see that guy sit at the booth, drinking his coffee from an old-fashioned mug with the Daily Grind logo on it, and none of that weird hyper plastic stuff that one of the corporations created to maximize the value of whatever they're selling.
Little chip just to prove that it's real.
Yeah, exactly. And he waves you over immediately, and I think he has a gentle look on his face. I think he generally likes you. And he greets you. He says, "Sit down. I got your message. You wanted to talk."
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, everything okay? You know, everything going well?
Yeah, I mean, busy, of course, because this town. He has sort of like deep sighs, like he he loves his job. He probably makes it seem that he hates it, right? It's like this sort of act that he puts on every time someone asks him how it's going. It's like, there's stuff going on, this stupid story I'm working on, and the editor is breathing down my back, and he and the editor are like this, right? They're close friends, but he just makes it seem as if there's some sort of trouble brewing. So he puts on that.
Sounds as one of those cardboard cups, just trying to not burn her fingers, and looks out the window to skyscrapers and then just flying things zooming by. Goes, yeah, funny little town. Hey, I don't actually have that much time, but I was hoping you could help me out with something. Actually, that there's this thing that I don't know. I've been trying to write, but I couldn't get my finger on it. Really, I maybe you have some things you could help me with here. Hold on, just
right.
out of this, do we actually have a name for that region, the black market, or?
Let's have a look at the locations.
I mean,
We haven't. Well, I mean, the thing where you had the meetup with your previous employer is called Naval Vox Shipyard, and this is sort of like next to that. So
Sure.
but
I'll
it
just
doesn't
go with
have
that.
a name. If it had a name, then everyone would be like, "Hey, there's this thing there, right?" It's in the docks district. I would call it sort of like that sort of general
Sure.
area. Make it vague as possible.
So just goes I've been wanting to write this thing about markets, like street level markets, like the real old fashioned stuff, the classics. And I've been at the
Vegetables.
sorry?
Vegetables.
Well, that sort of, yeah, squeezing vegetables, old grannies, the real stuff, Did you ever miss that? I was walking down near the docksides. Did you know the one where they store all the containers?
He grabs that. He has this instead of like a hollow pad or like a tablet. He has this old fashioned notebook that he flips open, and he grabs his old fashioned pen with ink. And he starts scribbling stuff down. Yeah, ink. Yeah, who would have thought? And he's like, "Do you mean that over there by the like the Navovox thing there?"
Yeah, sure, right next to it, like a little bit up to the north, just a block or so down.
What's up with that?
Well, turns out that there's this whole market there, this whole underground thing. Have you ever been there? Just a huge black market. I mean,
It's not-
I mean, and just black market.
I thought you knew.
You knew? You knew?
Well, it's not a big secret. Something everyone knows. Something if you need something, you go there. Right? It's
With all the gangs?
this is not. This is not a story. Silence.
But with all the gangs and just it's dangerous there.
There's dangers there. What's going on then?
I've said too much. I'm sorry. I shouldn't just and she grabs a cup and just
Look,
just
no,
pretends
this is
it's
not.
I
This is
shouldn't.
not how this works, Silence. You come and ask me for help, and then you say something, and then you go away. No, you tell me the real story. You tell me everything.
Look, I really shouldn't tell you this. Okay, just this is. I mean, you have to promise not to write anything about it because this is going to be big. I think this is going to be my breakthrough. I think if this works out, I've heard that there. Is that guy looking at us?
No,
Swear.
what
Okay,
is it?
just don't look at him. Don't look at him. I've heard that there's going to be this hit. Just this hit on this guy, right? He's called Tawny Tinny Tappy. Tacky. He's called Tacky.
Hmm.
Tacky by
Oh,
name, tacky by nature.
This apparently there's gonna be this underground takedown there. And I mean, I want to be there. I want to crack this story, but you've got to help. How do you do that kind of thing?
Well, you go there and you ask questions and you report. That's
No,
what we do. A report is silence.
No, I mean, but
what you're giving me nothing. You're coming to me saying, look, there's this black market that I know of, and there's a guy there that does criminal stuff who's gonna get killed. Boo freaking who? That's not news.
okay. What if I told you that it was secretly a corporate takedown?
Ah,
Did you know that that guy?
corporation. Corporations. Do you know the corporations?
Did you know that that guy was in league with? Oh God! Now you made up this corporation. It's not Mitsuhan. It's the other one. Xiaowei.
Cambrella? Oh, okay.
Xiaowei. Yeah.
Xiaowei shipping.
So that guy is in the pocket of Xiaowei shipping, and who do you guess is the big competitor? Who wants to take them down?
What's Xiaowei shipping?
Oh, it's this daughter company of
Never heard.
in,
Never heard
in-
of these.
Oh, that's
These
because they're
three-
connected to Yakuza.
This is where we roll, hit the streets, and see what you can get. Like he's absolutely intrigued. And we'll
Okay.
find out.
Okay. Let me see. Hit the street is style. Yep. Let me. The terrible thing is my style is not that good. Oh God! Never mind. Never mind.
All right.
My
well, you rolled a
style is
13.
just fine.
Yeah. So let's get hit the street. Yeah, oops, where is it? There we go. So when you go to a contact for help, and in this case that help would be him taking over this story and writing all sorts of stuff about this. On the 10 plus, you get a little something extra. Choose either intel or gear.
Oh, that's pretty good. So, at the very least, I get to choose two, right? Because it's something extra,
No,
or is it?
no. On the 10 plus, like on the 7 plus, you get what you want.
Mhm.
And on the 10 plus, you get a little something extra. And only on the 7 to 9 do you choose from the list below because the list is bad.
Nice, nice.
So he does what you want him to do. Like your story is
Yeah,
intriguing.
you get what you
You're
want and you get a little
making it
extra.
seem as if you're making it seem as if you're handing him something to sort of make up for what you owe him. And he'll run with it.
So we get either intel or gear. Gear wouldn't make sense. I think intel would make the most sense.
I think intel would make sense. Yes. And he probably like he tells you maybe some rumors that he heard around town, and this is stuff that you can use for the mission. You could use for anything really, like later on, like general stuff.
So I
Um,
think general stuff. I think that works out. Then they just have that. You have that little alcove that they're in, and sort of camera zooms out, and you just basically hear sounds. Just lean forward to go. Okay, so here's the story, and then it sort of fades out as you see
exactly.
them.
I
Do the
think
thing.
I think for this we reduce your silence in the news threat clock because you're sort of reducing your own visibility on the field and sort of shifting it to someone else. So that makes sense to me. Yeah, well done. So you got intel. Max will run with this story, and he'll come up. Max. He'll spin stuff. He'll make up stuff. Something will get published. So yeah, so you got that covered. Good job. All right. What else? Do we need a fence?
We do. And I think the fence that like we cut back to HK scale exotic pets, and we're all sat around this table in the back room. and Amy's like, of course, moving this quantity of merchandise isn't easy. Not many people are willing to handle such a large commodity, or to deal with this kind of goods on this sort of notice. Of course, I know just the person. And the contact I'm declaring is
I think at that point there's a little transition where it's just like a little Amy feedback logo.
Where you get like the Ocean's 11, doom, 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 just screen wipe too.
Needs to be like a standardized thing that happens whenever Amy's like, I know just the person.
yeah, maybe. The contact I'm thinking of is Avery Slayton. And what do I need to do? I need to say how I know them.
Yeah. So, yeah. How do you know Avery Slayton?
Okay, so I think
And who is this person? What did it look like, etc. Like a general overview.
yeah, I think Avery is a I think Avery is really is a fence, right? And is someone who Amy will have run into before. Part of being a fixer is all about connecting people with what they need. And much of the things that they need are not legal, and you know, you need middlemen essentially. Lots of, you know,
He's like a known player, really.
buy a
Like,
thing, sell a thing. Yeah, exactly. And I think Avery's been down on her luck for a bit. She had one of her, I want to say warehouses. I reckon she's got warehouses in near the Byron Kane building, which is part of the Nabavox shipyard itself. One of her warehouses was hit. There was a sting, and a lot of stuff was confiscated. And that put her into debt with some people, and so she's been having a hard time. But I think Amy feedback has helped her out, like has been throwing her more work.
right? Yeah. So she owes you in a sense.
Yeah,
More.
like it's
It goes both ways. Like whoever needs help gets the help.
but there's definitely a kind of it's too small to be currency. Like you
Right.
couldn't measure it, but it's part of the I mean, maybe it is currency, maybe it's a microtransaction, right? Like lots
Yeah.
of little
It's like an unspoken
individually are
agreement.
nothing, but add up to a measurable difference.
Basically a working relationship, right?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just
It's
what
just-
you do. Yeah.
It's a working,
Okay, yeah.
it's a working relationship.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And I think
Underground club card points.
yeah, and I think of her as being a substantial woman. Like she is tall and broad-shouldered, and not typically like not what we think of as classically attractive. She has
So
an
a
older,
handsome woman.
yeah. Like she has an older model of Cyber Eyes, which yeah, like look out of place. Like they definitely look dated. They're really noticeably artificial.
Right.
But she's kind and softly spoken.
Yeah.
Although perhaps that belies a ruthless streak, because at the end of the day she's a fence, right?
Yeah.
And fences don't do freebies as a
You-
rule.
All right, cool. Yeah. So where do you generally meet this Avery?
I think where do I don't know. Anyone have any suggestions? I don't know. Where do I meet Avery?
I mean, is it something you do just digitally through the Matrix, like vid screens, or
Or did you meet at the daily grind and you're sitting there with her and you think, hey, is that
Isn't that
silence?
Silence?
Is that woman looking at us? Don't look.
Yeah, I think
Maybe you.
no, because the daily grind, or at least that branch of the daily grind, we assume that the daily grind is like a hideous chain, right? Like it's,
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a. Yeah.
it's not
no,
an independent coffee
no,
shop.
no, there are no
It might
independent.
be dressed in
Yes.
I imagine it might if it's any bar or cafe, it'd be one of those you have to go down the stairs into this basement little area and you get glared at by the barkeeper because he doesn't know you. Those kinds of places. If it were something like that, it sounds more like that kind of a place.
All right. Well, we see the chrome logo of the daily grind in the background, and at first it like we're tight in on it, so it looks like it could be the same place. We're just cutting to a different angle, and then we realize that as the camera pulls back, we realize that in fact actually this is like here the chrome has been corroded by the rain that leaves this white powdery residue all over everything, and we pull out to reveal a used car lot, a used car sales, a used car dealership, I guess. Is that
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
excuse me, and Amy is dressed in corporate wear, which is not what she like wears at all, but she's wearing the uniform of the business classes. She would
Is it the costume you used for the previous mission? The one that was
Yeah.
like the thigh
could-
short skirt.
it could well be there's a different tie, but yeah, like
Okay.
it's the same sort of sober thing, and we're not downtown. We're in a, I don't want to say a suburb because we don't really have suburbs. It's sprawling, but we're sort of more towards the edges of the city, and the sales assistant has just gone inside, and Amy waves to Avery.
yeah.
They're standing in front of corporation names. I've forgotten them all. General.
Right. So, what do you want? Which one do you want? We got Alded Vistas,
some-
Praise Be, Lazarus Biotech, General Consumer Services, Mitsuha Heavy Industries, Camarilla Unlimited,
I think
Uh,
there's a
Blackstar, Shellway. We've got multiple.
you have
Think
all
think
the-
of a subsidiary.
yeah, you have all of the corporation names. General Industries, General, what is it?
Consumer Services.
General Consumer Services, Rheinhammer ZN23, which is a ground car. We haven't talked about technology, but I assume actually we don't have hover vehicles, do we? Or do
If
we?
they exist, they'd be very rare and only for the hyper rich.
I think maybe you'd get like rather than having like cars with inbuilt like hover systems, it's like there's some sort of like magnetic interaction, like almost like a magnetic monorail, but like the cars sort of hover on top.
Guided.
Like that
Yeah.
that early Star Wars hovering thing.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not actually hovering, but it's like the car and the ground are like magnetically.
I'd imagine like either like VR or self-driving cars now, they technically would exist, but nobody has them. Real people have just driving cars, and rich people have whatever.
So maybe there are in some parts of the world and in between some like some areas there are like maglev highways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
special roads constructed
That's
for
it.
the because you need those special roads, and then the maglev technology is really expensive,
So
so
you need a
people
subscription.
Toll
just
roads.
drive their cars on the maglev road while the rest of the plebs are stuck in traffic in ground vehicles.
Yeah.
Just literally a nice, clean, beautiful maglev road, and the rest of us are like one
Yeah,
level
there's
down,
literally
where
one
all the
level below.
crap drips down on them.
So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely a ground car dealership. It is not it isn't the high end stuff, but
Yeah.
To all intents and purposes, Amy looks like she is going to buy a car.
Right. Yeah.
And waves Avery over. And what do I roll? I roll style when I.
Yeah. So you hit the street and you roll style.
And I don't. I'm not fast talking, so I just roll style.
Yo, you rolled a 10. Right?
That's all I needed.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she comes over, greets you, quite pleased to see you. I think, in general. Do we want to make a whole scene out of this, or is it just one of those interactions where we see, sort of muted view of you guys talking and shaking hands and discussing stuff, and then walking away, each going your own way?
Yeah, why not? Like I like
Yeah.
that. We see Avery and Amy talking, and after a bit, the assistant comes back and like shows them another car, and they're obviously like there's an exchange, and then they shake hands,
Yeah.
and the assistant looks disappointed, and they walk away.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. No. She's obviously interested, and she probably gives you a location, like.
She's got a new warehouse set up somewhere.
Yeah, like not too close to where you're going to be pulling a heist, but somewhere fairly nearby. You don't have to haul an entire.
We're not gonna drag a dog and pony show across.
No, we don't. We don't have a driver, so let's skip that part. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So do I get something extra? Is that right?
So yeah, you do. Yeah, you get either intel or gear. Your choice.
I think I get more intel.
All right. Yeah.
That makes sense. What makes sense here? Gear or intel?
I mean, either
Either
would
could
make
be.
sense. Being that she's sort of
Although-
well, she doesn't really owe you, but
She's a fence. I imagine gear seems a little bit more likely than intel.
It seems more likely she will have had something.
Yeah, like if anything, a fence would want to keep the amount of knowledge she has about her stuff to the absolute minimum.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe where it's
Well,
going.
and also,
I-
where it's
it's
come from.
one of
It
those
could be
moments
either.
where
It could be either, because she could also be a fence in information, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Information is also a
Information
commodity.
broker.
No, but I just imagine this type of exchange where she'd hand you like this, that may be what the exchange was, a little sort of sneaky handing something over, and then this, what is this? Call it an investment. Just,
Yeah. I mean, whatever you want. If it's gear, it's gear. If it's intel, it's intel. That's fine.
Yeah,
Your choice.
I think it's gear, and
Right.
it's small enough that could be handed to someone. Well, I mean, all gear is kind of supposed to be portable, like, but it's it's something that could be in a backpack or in a
Okay.
backpack or something.
Cool. I think that wraps up the legwork phase unless there's anything pressing, like anything else that needs to be handled.
no.
think so.
Let's have a break, like a 5-minute break, and then start with the action. Excited?
Sounds good. Leave it for a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back. Hello again. There we are, ready to get going. Told you it wouldn't be that long. So, are we ready to fail miserably?
We were just talking about the Dutch The Voice,
Yeah.
and how amazing that show is. And
I am not changing the subject of this stream to IRL.
Let's fast forward to I want to say night of the mission. Or is it going to be during the day? What are you guys thinking?
is it ever daytime in the Sprawl? Like
It,
ever?
it is. There's daylight. It's just, it sucks. It just always sucks.
You
It
can't
doesn't
see it because all the
really at night.
buildings are so high it blocks it out.
I think little side story. I think,
I think
if I recall correctly, in China that's actually a thing where some companies are so into feng shui that they'll build their own building to cast a shadow on the building of their competitor to ruin their feng shui.
Wow. I would like
It-
that to be true. I can imagine it being
Yeah, I
true.
want that to be true.
It's so do I. That's why I don't want to investigate it any further.
Yeah, we'll just assume that that's true and move on.
Yeah.
The internet age.
So
Yeah.
what, do we make an engagement roll? How does this work? Josh?
No. I want you guys to establish what the time of day is, because that will allow me to
Just tell me what the time is, damn it!
Well,
Don't spend a million years
things go
discussing the
bump
time
in
of
the
day.
night. I can't imagine us doing anything in the day, right?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's
we have
black
like
market,
48
so-
hours surveillance,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah. Basically, it's up to you guys. I don't care whether it's night or day. It's just I want you
It's
guys.
Cyberpunk, it's night.
If anyone knows, it's Trip.
We are playing the midnight version of the Sprawl, not the noon version.
It's not true. I have the noon version. I'm playing I think Alex is playing the
You-
midnight.
Um,
Yeah. See.
leave it to us,
I
young men.
also
We are
have the
playing
midnight version.
Oh, damn it. All right, I'm outnumbered. It's my okay. So
I think
I
we
ima-
know how we set each scene then. If we ever see a scene in the corporation, it's daylight. It's noontime. If we do things, it's nighttime.
all right. So I imagine this would be somewhere like 3 a.m. Right? Because most of the black market stuff goes down when it's shady and not during the day when there's a lot of people walking around.
Mhm.
In my mind.
Makes sense.
So we need it to be fairly empty, which would make it like very, very early in the morning.
Yeah, I think it's all semi-legal in the self-made market, and it like gray area, like maybe they don't have permits, maybe they just pay bribes or whatever so that no one looks too
Yeah.
closely.
But I think the point is that Taki needs to not be there.
He's
So he
not on
needs
the
to.
scene. So
Yeah. So yeah, like very early in the morning, 4 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., something like that. It's dark. There's a fair amount of rain, I think, and it's sort of like spattering off like the metal of the crane and the gate, and there's big pools of rain gathering in front of the gate, and imagine this compound being sort of like an enclosed thing, like just a standard sort of like fence gate type thing, like metal wired. There's like barbed wire sort of on top of the thing, and there's these giant sort of almost stadium lights, like on posts that are lighting the area.
Construction lights.
Brightly lit construction lights, like brightly lit, not too high as to not attract too much attention, but like a couple of meters up.
is it all red light?
Could be, yeah, if we want to, yeah, it could be like a
Red or pinkish kind of hue. It's not
yeah, no, it's not
it's
like
not-
brightly like
it's
like
not
massive
the white of a stadium's floodlights.
No,
and it's
no,
not the distinctive orange of sodium street light, old
No,
sodium street
no,
light.
there should be some
It's
like
like
maybe like a
low
greenish
red
hue
here,
or-
low blue
like-
there.
Yeah, that would make sense. And yeah, I want to give you more descriptions, but I want to know where you guys are and what you guys are doing to make sort of figure
So
out what.
the way I imagine this going down is that we have the talkers, being Silence and Amy, being the ones who are riding in the cabin of the truck as we come up to the gate. At that point, that we get in, but then while they're sort of it's like, hey, would you let us in, bub? Or you're like, who are, that sort of thing's going down. We have the old dream team of Webb plus Trip trying, and Trip's job is to mother duck Webb into the control room of the crane.
Yeah.
And then once that area is secure that Webb can do his thing, then Trip, I'm trying to remember what, because we sort of went a little bit over this, how we thought this might go down last time. I think Trip was then going to try and rendezvous back with Silence and Amy to try and make sure that all of the stuff in there was going down smoothly, and creates enough distraction for anybody while Webb hopefully covertly gets the old crane action going.
Yeah. So I think the original plan was to have someone with a sniper rifle create a distraction somewhere else on the site.
That was going to be a bishop, but
Yeah, probably. That's not going to happen now.
I like that
Well-
euphemism. Somebody with a sniper rifle creates a distraction.
Well, and if the crane control room is somewhere high, so you can have an overview of.
I imagine. So let me paint a picture of what you saw in your in the footage, right? It's a fairly like a sort of what would be like a football field size area in total. And you've got these box lights sort of scattered around on poles, like every corner is lit, and then there's probably like a row of lighting somewhere like in the middle, sort of. The containers are not neatly arranged, right? So they're sort of like rotated and sort of placed in a way that makes it feel as if they're market stalls with their own sort of separate corners here and there. And it's probably like an area for, if you need drones, then you go to the northeast corner, because there's the vendors who sell all the drone parts. And
But this isn't. This is where they store stock. It's not the shops, or is it?
it is, yeah,
Okay.
because Taki sells directly from his.
Sells directly out of his
Yeah.
containers. Okay.
But I imagine it's maybe several containers sort of attached, where it's like there's the
yeah.
front stall, which is just an open container with a makeshift little desk, but in the back
Exactly.
there's
Yes, exactly. And then the control room is I imagine it'd be somewhere high up to get have an overview for the crane, so you could, as crane operator, you'd be able to see what you were doing, even though everything is computer controlled. It's good to have eyes.
Although, if it's that computer controlled, that futuristic, there'd be cameras everywhere, and there'd literally be somebody in a joystick somewhere downstairs just doing this thing. Because
and
I don't want to get up all
I
there.
still imagine it to be somewhat low tech as well, because otherwise, how the hell did these people get this bit of land, right? But I mean, if it's up to you, if you feel that it's like more advanced, and then the control room would just be like a little shack with a console and some screens and a joystick somewhere in the corner.
well, I think we agreed when I willed the crane into existence that it was an automated system.
All right. Okay.
Where it was computer controlled. I think there's just sort of like a base level of commonplace
so-
tech that's like just permeates everything.
Just they're all tagged, and the thing just is an automatic thing
Yeah,
of gather
that-
from
like
space A2.
anything that can and most probably was like menial and should be automated was automated a long time ago. Unless you really needed a human to sit there and go yes, no, that way, this way, it just wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
So
No.
like all menial labor jobs, like warehouse workers, other than like maybe one or two sort of supervisory positions, don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I.
What I imagine for this place, just atmosphere wise, is it's the place that corporations forgot, because nobody wants to deal with the logistics. Nobody thinks of the logistics. So when the companies left and the containers were still there, people picked up the slack. They
Yeah,
crawled in the crack.
So to answer your question in terms of is there a sniper's perch for at the crane? No, there isn't. Unless you climb the actual crane construction.
I mean, if you got yourself on top of the actual crane,
Yeah.
that's a moving sniper position.
But then so there's a control room which probably is then just like a tiny building with some screens and a joystick and some or for like emergency purposes if the computer sort of fails, and then some connections that you can plug into to hack the thing if you want. We also established that there's a lot of cameras because people want to protect the stuff. Yeah, so let's get starting. Let's get started. I think Silence and Amy then pull up in the truck with Kawasumi, and there's rain sort of slamming down on the windshield, and the lights of the truck sort of light up this. Yeah, that's the only thing you hear is just the silence and the rain sort of bang down on the truck and the wipers going back and forth, and Kawasumi sort of pulls up stops a couple of meters in front of the gate, and there's two guards standing there. They're not wearing any uniforms. They're probably wearing these now wearing parkas because it's just a torrent of water just sort of falling down, and they are carrying assault rifles, and you'd recognize them, Amy, as Camarilla equipment.
Okay. And is this actually a great opportunity for Trip to get us all in, or not?
I think the idea was for Trip and Webb to be elsewhere, and to get and
Yeah, I like the idea that as they pulled up, because you've got sort of, I don't know, placeholder, something on the back of that the truck itself is pulling, that we're sort of there, and as you're talking to all the guards who then come now round the front and all paying attention to you, we sort of do the immigrant slipping over the border thing where we just jump out the back and quickly hurry off to the side or something.
Okay.
So well, I could be in the cab with you and do my move, or you could maybe have intel'd a order number or pickup slip or whatever that you.
So here's the thing, right? You can't all fit in the cabin of the truck because it's a truck and then there's an empty trailer, and a cabin fits 3 people max. That's it.
That's why I imagined that it would be myself and Trip in the trailer, which we then hop out of, run off to the side and do our business, while you two and Kawasumi were in the cab.
Right.
Yeah. And I think okay, so I think Amy is on the passenger side of this giant vehicle's cab, and she rolls down the window as if to say approach, because we're not going to shout across through the rain.
No, exactly. Yeah, and the guy initially sort of walked to the driver's side of the truck, and then he sort of notices that the window's sort of electrically powered, sort of going down, and he walks to your side. The other guard is still standing by the gate with his weapon sort of holding it up. Yeah, so the man walks up to you, and he's like a sort of looks like a mixed like a sort of Asian European style, and he has this very gruff tone of voice. I think, what do you want?
Exchange order. And she just holds up a data slate, with details of like something to be delivered and something to be collected,
Yeah.
and it looks like a legit thing.
Are you spending? Are you
I
spending?
am declaring.
What
Is
is
it
it?
declaring? Not declaring the content.
Let's see.
I'm
It's
It's a fast talk,
revealing
isn't
knowledge.
it?
I
That
am
depends. Revealing knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can either produce equipment or reveal knowledge.
I reveal
Ah.
knowledge, which, or is it gear? I don't.
So knowledge is intel, and produce equipment would be gear.
Well, the
And if it's
knowledge is when you feel your knowledge of your opposition's preparations, dispositions, or environment. So this would just be knowing what the guard schedule is. I imagine having
not
a
the
bit
schedule.
of paper that allows you in, that would be equipment, right?
It
Paper.
is.
Could be. Yeah.
If it's a legitimate data slate, then it'd be gear, right? It's
Data slate is a common item.
no, I mean, but if the contents of that slate are sort of valid, then it'd be gear.
We don't think this is intelligence. It's information.
I think this is the black. This is the grey area where these two
This is
overlap.
where I mean, I'm willing to give it to you either way. It doesn't matter.
Because it's a physical thing that contains information pertaining to physical things.
Yeah.
Well,
it's-
the difficulty is. Sorry, yeah, Fob?
Presumably, the order forms are standardized. So acquiring an order form or an exchange order is not. It doesn't require any special ability. But knowing what to put on the order form, that's the information you need.
Yeah.
I-
Okay. Intel.
There is
Sure.
some.
Okay.
Oh.
Spend intel.
All right.
And you take +1 forward to exploit the opportunity. So he grabs the data slate, and he walks it back to the gate. He's got a little console there as well, and he starts checking some stuff, right? And he comes back. He says, "Okay, so you want to get in? Why now? Why not, dude? You're late. We're closed."
Well, what time does the order say?
I mean, it doesn't matter what the order says. I'm saying it's closed. And it's obvious to you that this man just wants something else out of it.
And I think at this point Amy's going to be difficult. Like she knows that she shouldn't cave too easily. Like there's a time for doing knowing what the person you're talking to wants and giving it to them, and there's a time for confounding their expectations so that you sell the lie better.
Yeah.
That's
I think
what
this
she's
guy
doing.
this guy comes off with like an entire spiel of like, "Look, it's late, and you're forcing me to open up the gate and let you through and then close again. It's a lot of work, and a
I
lot
can
of
see
work
that.
needs to be rewarded, right? You know what I mean."
Obviously, you don't get paid at all here. Fucking asshole! Open the gate.
I'm not
Who's
sure
gonna
if that's the. Are you making a move here, or are we still talking?
I mean, that could be fast talk.
It could be. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Roll fast talk. Let's. have
What
some
I'm
fun.
doing is presenting myself as who I am, to get him to do what I want.
Yeah. I mean, you get a
Which is
+1 forward
which
from
is a
the
lie. Yeah,
from the intel.
I get a +1 forward from the intel, and when I also have FaceTime. So when I engage someone in face-to-face conversation without intervening
Yeah.
technology, I get another
Oh,
+1.
nice.
Just really charming / intimidating /
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
good at this. I can
Yeah.
talk anyone out of anything. So I'm rolling with +2. So basically,
Amy can talk the hind legs off a bionic donkey.
I need a 2 to fail. Fuck no.
So, all right.
It's
Well.
only because you said it you realise this, right?
Yeah.
Literally because you just said, okay, this is what I need to fail. Bloop.
All right.
Wait, how'd you
I'm
get
gonna
the 2
spend karma
forward?
to re-roll that.
No.
I don't know what happens. Tell me how does this go wrong, Jaxis?
What happens is, let's see.
Fail forward.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking either we make this, we escalate, or we just fail forward. And I'm advancing the action clock. You're making more noise than you should have been doing.
All right.
And he looks at you. He takes a good look at you, and doesn't say anything. And then he walks back
And he was
to.
like, take a photograph, it'll last longer.
No.
knows she's good looking, even though she's wearing like the ball cap of a delivery worker and like
Yeah.
fucking rain coveralls
Okay.
and everything.
If we're going like this, you have to flip him the bird as you drive off. Just literally just.
So he doesn't say anything anymore. He doesn't even hand you back. He tosses you back the thing you handed him. He stomps off and he opens up the gate. But he does take note of the license plate of the truck
Well, that's fine.
and
It's fake.
obviously your face, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe probably like everyone who's inside, you're
Sure. Like
compromised. Like it's just
we would expect that. That seems like it
I
would
mean,
be pretty shit security if they didn't.
Should
at
you
least
not
look
have? If you hadn't failed the roll, then
He
you
might have
probably would
rubber stamped
have thought
it, but-
twice or whatever.
I think
but he
Silence in
opens
the
up the
cab
gate.
just looking to the side going, Jesus, I thought you were good with people.
I don't even know. Like, okay, but all right, fine.
Yeah. Gate
He
opens
does
up.
his job basically,
Yeah.
and like doesn't just let strangers in. But apparently, we're legit.
The
so-
gate makes like this really.
Criminal organization. Just saying.
While we have this exchange, well, if Webb and Trip want to sneak in for some, I don't know how. Maybe we sort of cut to them while the gates being opened and the truck sort of drives in. And we see the truck make a driving motion towards the gate. We sort of cut towards Trip and Webb. Where are you guys? What are you doing?
We're not on wheels, so we don't need to go through the gate.
No.
We could just climb the fence.
Yes, you could. There's barbed wire on the fence. You could climb it. Do you think Webb would be able to climb a fence?
My thoughts was be the case that as the truck sort of went, as the gate opened, the truck pulled in. As the truck maybe goes off to one side, we sort of do the whole quickly hop off at like a point, and that's where your sort of infiltratory skills come into play, and we sort of sneak off to one side while all the guards are going. It's like, yeah, there's a truck going by. They didn't notice the two little people going off into the shadows.
That's not how my infiltrate works. Because I'm a face. I'm not a cat burglar.
I mean, you do have covert entry. You don't get the bonus from being a face, but you can still do it. It is something you'd be skilled enough to do if you want to. Right? If it may not be what your character is, but you can, as a playbook, you can.
At the end of the, I mean, yeah, it's up to you.
So what shall we do? Go in after the truck and just say, "Oh yeah, we're with them."
You could.
I mean,
Look, I have an intel from the assess. Could I have found a sort of a hole or a weakness in the fence? I imagine this is some kind of chain link fence or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you just found it. If you want to, you just found it.
Oh, then we creep
Oh.
through there.
I think this is. I imagine this also sort of being like one end on the water side, and probably like where the fence sort of meets the sort of drop into the water. But usually have if you have like a fence, you sort of have like this bit going down the side. There's probably like a some links missing between like in the connecting stuff, like where the hole between my fingers is. That's probably where Webb and you are sort of crawling through right now.
Okay.
It does, however, require you to A, spend that intel, and B, gain covert entry if you don't want to be spotted.
Okay.
And if you want to take along Webb, because otherwise Webb is going to have to roll something else.
Okay. So covert entry. Well, let's just roll. Cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Do I get a forward for spending the intel?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So
'Cause
one
you're
forward.
literally using the hole you found with the intel.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh dear. That's a
That's
6.
enough fill as well.
Let's see. On a miss, you don't even gain a hold, do you?
I don't.
No. Okay. You're making this difficult for me. I want you to succeed. Okay. Yeah. As you gain entry into the compound. No one's there. No one's seeing you. Silence Amy and I keep forgetting her name. Kawasumi.
Kawasumi.
His name. Is it a he or a she? I forget. Amy. Or is it a they?
I,
I seem to remember it being a he.
I think Kawasumi's a he. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I did write it down. Never mind. This is awkward. You roll up in your truck, and behind you is another car rolls up, a fairly flashy car, black, with tinted windows, and follows the truck in. Doesn't have to stop. Stops briefly. The guard takes one look and sort of waves the car in. What else do you guys do?
Well, I think at this point, Amy dismounts from the truck and it is like to the guard. Crane controls.
Figure it out yourself, you bitch.
Fuck you, asshole. And looks around for where it is. I mean,
Why don't
presumably-
you roll act under pressure for me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
mean,
What's
you're-
the?
antagonizing the guy.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You roll cool.
All right.
Right, that's
Not
a 7.
terrible.
So you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. The MC will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice.
Um,
Bum, bum,
he
bum, bum.
he says, "All right, that's enough out of you." He raises his gun. He sort of points it
I thought you were talking to me.
haphazardly at you. He doesn't really take aim or whatever, but it's clear that he will use it if whatever. And he says, "Like your little friends, just you're clear to go. You stay here with me, and we're gonna have a little chat."
Oh, you're a big man now, pointing a gun at me.
Yeah,
How big of you?
yeah, that's what it's for.
You're trying to do your job. I'm trying to do mine. Okay, you don't want to be helpful in any way whatsoever. I get it. You're having a shitty day. Maybe your cat died. Maybe your boyfriend left you. But
You could have been nice. Could have asked gently. Could have said please. Did you?
I think at the moment that he's starting to try and take Amy hostage like that, I think literally Silas just gets out with one of the, with like a modern tape recorder and basically just sort of hand to the implant going, we are live at the scene of a kidnapping being taken place on the street. Just literally just trying to make it seem as though she's broadcasting whatever. Just literally going, okay, how are you feeling right now? Just to the guard, just in the face. And is trying to use the live and on the air. When you go live from the scene and broadcast the stream to avoid harm and expose your target, roll edge.
I think this is a terrible idea, but okay.
I think it's a terrible idea as well.
All right. So, I mean, this is not just you pretending to record stuff. This is going out. Fair warning.
Fair enough. I'd have to.
If you wanna fake him out, then it'd be fast talk, right? If you wanna pretend you're doing this, then it's fast talk. If you wanna be sure that something, that you're doing something you're actually good at, then this will also, this is actual footage, and it will find its way to whatever.
No, I'm gonna try and fake him out. I'm definitely not actually going live with this. That's the last thing we need right now.
Okay. So you're gonna fast talk. You can, Amy, if you want, you can help.
Yes. I
You
think
don't
I'm
have-
helping.
Am I?
Do I want to be implicated in the results of this failure? I don't know. I think Amy's actually taken aback by this. This wasn't part of the plan. Bishop had a plan. This wasn't it.
Bishop, where are you?
Yeah, Bishop has been pulled away on a job,
That's
right?
right.
Like last minute. He's like, "Sorry guys, I have to leave."
Yeah.
I'm just gonna broadcast a helper interfere to help you decide. I'm not saying that you have to do this, but then at least we can see what it does. If you have any links with silence, you can help.
I do. I think. I think I have one.
I mean, you don't even have to have links. You can.
That's
always.
unidirectional though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one. I have one with you. I should. I think Amy looks surprised for a moment and then immediately changes gear into, it's been a long day. We're shooting a reality show about shipping drivers. It's called
Right. Yeah.
Sprawl Road Drivers. It's for channel whatever she names a channel.
Okay. Roll your links with silence.
My beautiful crane.
Yes. All right. You give a +1 to
Nice.
silence's fast talk.
Okay, so that will be a style.
What's your style?
I don't think I can. My style's 1.
Okay. All
I-
right.
I don't know if we can actually do a +1 or if I should just add a forward, basically, in the actual mechanical thing here.
Well, then to
Just
the-
Yeah.
just 1.
Yeah,
Where's
just
the-
put one in the forward.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just put it in the forward, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
but that's
let's
what you
see.
do. You give someone +1 forward.
Oh
And
God.
it's a good.
Uh,
I mean,
That's all right.
Okay,
That's,
that
that's
works.
right,
That
eight.
works.
an 8 on fast talk. Let me scroll up a bit.
Yeah. When it comes to the fast talk, that
When you try to
means
convince someone to do what you want with promises, lies, or bluster, this is lies and bluster, I guess.
Pretty much.
On a 7 to 9, NPCs do it, but someone will find out. The MC will advance the appropriate countdown clock. I think this will be legwork. Actually, that doesn't make any sense. Let's see, because this is not really a mission. You're not getting paid in the
Well,
sense that you're.
I'd
Okay.
imagine it's the silence in the
like-
news that advances because she's going to be back on the scene again.
Yeah, Actually, yeah, that would make sense. Threat clock for silence. Yeah, let's do that. Let's advance that one. Oops. You couldn't just lie
Remind
low.
me, what is silence in the news clock? Like, what
So
does
silence,
that represent?
it represents silence's activities in the news in the sense that, well, last time she did something and that story sort of blew up and corporations were not really happy about that, so she sort of disappeared into the network on traffic duty and all that sort of stuff to sort of stay out of sight and out of mind. Now she's resurfacing.
I don't want to game this too hard, but this isn't real news. She's not actually going live,
This is true. This
That's
is
a
true.
good
That's a
point.
fair point.
and she hasn't
Um,
revealed her like identity. She's pretending
let's
to be
let's
someone
let's
else.
make
She's
it.
also a reporter.
Let's do the action clock.
Isn't that just a noise? Oh wait, no, that's connected to.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'll advance. I'm going to advance the action clock. It's
Hmm.
just added pressure for you guys.
Yeah, it actually makes things harder for us, but
Yeah.
But okay, yeah. Basically, Silence picks up on what Amy's doing, and then sort of switches accent a little bit and goes, "Yeah, babe, fiercer, come on, frown," and just sort of tries to pretends to get him in the shot.
And Amy
All right.
continues like trying to shame this guard for pointing a gun at someone who's trying to do their job, and like, it's
He,
like, oh great, so
I
you've
think
got a gun, like you're waving your big dick around,
he's
trying
trying to sort of
bully
maneuver.
this tiny woman.
He's trying to maneuver himself between you and Silence with his back towards Silence's camera, so he's not on screen. And he instantly lowers his weapon. He's like, "Look, all right, you made your point. Okay, just fuck off. Do whatever you want, and then get out." And then he walks off. And I think in the background you see the black car sort of moving towards one side of the yard, and the gate sort of closes with a squeak.
I think Silence just pushes like and goes, "We'll do the confessional later, okay?"
All right.
Fast talk. If they do what you want, the PCs mark experience.
That's for fast talking PCs, I think.
Now NPCs do it, but somebody finds out. For PCs, choose one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess you get back into the truck and drive to the location.
I mean,
You don't really need to.
I don't really need to, and
I think then what happens is Kawasumi sort of reverses the truck and sort of positions it so that it can easily just drive out of the compound again.
and Amy makes a show of looking around, as if she's never been here before. I mean, she has in a way.
Yeah.
And we have like the camera footage that we looked at, the drone footage that we looked at. So she probably knows exactly where the crane control room is.
Yeah, I mean, you
but
all
just-
know, right?
Yeah, just asked
Yeah,
that to keep selling the fact that
exactly.
we are who we say we are. We're not.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think as you're looking around, you probably see two shadowy figures, navigate towards the crane controls. I guess Trip and Webb. Let's move back to you guys.
Yeah, we try to make our way to the crane control room without attracting attention.
I mean, that's fairly easy to do. It's there's not a lot of people right outside because of the rain. They're probably sort of like inside the containers. The doors are still open and sort of guarding the stuff from there.
So we take a route that just takes us back along the back of the containers to just stay mostly out of sight.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, you reach the little crane control cabin type thing. It's just probably like a sort of concrete small building, like what is it, 2 by 2 or like 2 by 3 meters big. with a console inside. The door is unlocked. There's no one there. The lights are not on, except for like the sort of like screen flickers of the cameras and the crane control cameras. And that's about it. So you can just get in if you want.
So there's no guards. No one is looking actively at the crane control room.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Right. Then I guess it's web time. Yeah, I will sort of get myself in there. I think as I sort of maybe like Trip is just saying okay now go in, but I'm sort of like still creeping a bit, and as I get in, I pull the door shut, and I'm like, and I just pull it, so that I'm inside, and then I'll sort of hunker myself down. If I can, I'd like get under the desk and sort of lean up. Yeah, and I sort of lean up against the wall, like plug the wires in where it's necessary, feed the wires down, and then deck out.
Okay. You sort of zone into the Matrix. We get that 8-bit Nintendo era Matrix screen again, probably in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget, did we get Web a communication device for inside the Matrix?
We didn't know.
That's good to know.
We did.
Might
We
get
did.
one after
You
this.
might get one after this, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you will get one after this. You encounter a login gate, obviously. It's a gate. It's like have you ever played what's it called, Dragon's Lair? Like it's like the castle with the drawbridge and just like a gate. There's just a massive gate there.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But that's what it looks like. You walk up and there's a gate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yep. Okay.
It is asking for a login.
Cool. Let me navigate my way to the page to make sure that I definitely know what I'm doing. I do, I promise.
I can give you a list of moves. I think what you do is jack in or something.
Yeah, it's the jack in now.
Log in.
Yeah, okay, so okay, yeah, 2 moves, jack in. So do I have to roll anything for jack in, or is that just I'm in?
Oh wait, let's see. No, you I think you need to roll console cowboy.
Well, console cowboys once I'm in.
When you connect to a secure system, you're connecting to a secure system now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll roll my console cowboy, which is right there.
Mind.
I roll mind, and do I get +1 forward because this is the crane that I intel'd in, or is that not the way that works?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just the only +1 forward you're going to get for the crane.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Right, that's an
Boom.
11.
11.
Right, cool. Okay.
Cool.
You gain 3 hold for your console cowboy, so you can prevent all sorts of stuff from happening.
Cool.
And then I think it's asking for a login, so you log in, which is rolling synth. When you attempt to gain access to a system, you roll synth.
Okay. Where does it say that?
I don't think I have it in as a.
Is that just a?
I haven't added them. It's one of the Matrix moves. I haven't added it to my list of moves, I think, yet. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, of course I forgot. Because there's 2 separate pages for hacker moves and Matrix moves.
Yeah. So you log in. It's synth. On the 10+, you're in clean. On the 7 to 9, you're in but, and then you choose one.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm super in.
There's a 14. Yeah, you're in clean. So you just sort of tap some stuff and maybe show your 8-bit sword, and the gate sort of opens up, and you can walk in to a what looks like probably like the interior, sort of like the castle walls around you. You're inside a castle, I think. And there's a little maybe like a sort of guardhouse that sort of represents the crane controls.
Hmm.
And I think you manipulate systems here. I just need to look up what sort of system this is. Services node, probably. Yeah. It is. It's a services node. And yeah, from there,
Okay.
you can control the crane.
Cool. So I get to roll synth once more.
I think so.
Uh, Okay, cool.
That's a
Skill.
9.
Yep.
Okay, so you gain 1 hold over this system, and by spending something from your console cowboy, you can gain an additional hold, I think. Well, what this thing will allow you to do is operate the crane, and I think with spending 1 hold, it means that you can pick up and drop off 1 container.
Okay.
Does that seem fair? I think so.
Yeah, fair enough.
What is the rest of the plan? Yeah, I mean, we can flash back to you discussing whatever. What happens when Webb has gained access to the actual system? Because there's still the issue of some guards and not getting detected and all that sort of stuff. So, what do you guys do?
Well, at this point, I think Kawasimi's spun the 18-wheeler, 16-wheeler, whatever it is, the Arctic around.
Yeah.
And Amy hops up, like looks around for a bit, as if to look for the crane control, and then hops up onto the back of the truck, and like starts adjusting the various like clamps and locking mechanisms to opening them all up.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's a control panel on the back of the trucks.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
You know, like,
yes. Just a
do it
touchscreen
from
thing.
there.
You just press it and it
Why it doesn't happen from the cab is probably because like on some models, new models of this vehicle, it would, but this is slightly older.
I think Kawasumi even sort of apologizes for that. It's like, this is the only thing I could get on such short notice.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it from outside the cab.
Oh, it'll be advertised as a security feature.
Right. It's got separate control, so you could have a supervisor traveling with you, right? Like that's the idea. But actually, it just gets in the way. But anyway, Amy uses this as an opportunity while she's very confidently going through this interface to unlock the various mechanisms on the truck, to have a look around and scope out what the situation is, like how much attention are people paying, where are the cars, etc. Like just.
Okay. So I think that means
think
you
that's
are
an assess.
assessing.
Yeah. And that's edge, right?
It's edge, yes. Closely study a person, place, or situation.
And that'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. That's 3 hold for your assess. Just quick question, switching over quickly to Trip. 1 question, and we'll switch back. Trip, Webb is inside the control building. What are you doing? What does Trip do? Do you stay there, or do you go somewhere else? Have you planned anything else?
Can I? It's a small shack, right? A single-story shack.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I climb on top of it.
Okay.
And I'll just bring out my sniper rifle and just
Our SVD. Okay. Yeah.
Presumably it has a night scope, so I can just, take a look around. And
I don't think it has. Because that'd be a plus optics or plus magnification or visual enhancement or whatever.
I mean, this place is lit. We're not in darkness.
Yeah.
True.
You wouldn't have any unless the lights suddenly go out because I make a move and make the lights go out. You wouldn't have any problem hitting people.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll
You
I'll
still
just
need- we're
use
gonna
the
do that.
scope. I'll just use the scope to take a look around and see
Okay.
what's what.
Okay, so are you helping Amy in that sense?
Yeah, I might be. I might be.
If you want, I mean, you don't have to, but if you want.
I mean,
Actually, you already rolled. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I already.
So
rolled.
you're basically
Okay.
you're ready
Can
for
we-
any.
And like I got the best result possible.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah,
Yeah, so
so
Amy is on her own. I'm not helping her.
No, you're just lying there with your sniper rifle. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. Back to Amy. Oh, sorry about that.
That's cool. So what how can I avoid trouble or hide here?
Avoid the black car that entered the compound.
Right. They've gone off somewhere, right?
They've gone into the direction of where Taki's containers are.
Okay. Shit. All right. And
Yeah, you have the distinct feeling that you do not want the person
they're
or persons
badly,
inside
whatever they
to
are.
see you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And where are how far if I walk in the direction of the crane control, which is the next logical thing that I would do in this situation,
yeah.
even though I know that my people are already there.
That's maybe
We've been
20,
communicating.
30 meters away.
Oh, so really close.
Yeah, it's like along the wall, like along the fence. It's just one concrete building, basically.
And how far is that from Taki's stuff?
I imagine that Taki stuff is like on the other end of the compound.
So Amy heads towards the crane control. Is Silence coming with her? Are we keeping up the bit?
I'm debating that. I'm thinking maybe it also might be useful to keep Silence on the street to basically hide in plain sight, being the distraction again, hanging around the containers in case anyone sort of starts making trouble. She basically acts as though it's a documentary. Like, here we see the delicate work of the crane operators, yada yada, to try and create a distraction on site.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking that might be the most useful thing to do right now. Because otherwise I'll just attract attention to you.
All right, so Amy walks strides through the fucking drizzle, hood up over the ball cap, towards the crane control. On the way there, what do I notice despite an effort to conceal it? I'm looking for an opportunity.
An opportunity to do what?
To make money.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean.
But maybe there isn't one. Maybe the shit.
Oh, there definitely is. Of course there is. There always is.
Okay.
There's maybe. So you have this compound and you have the fence, and then there's the little, call it a shack for now, like the control room for the crane controls.
Mhm.
And there's containers all over the place, but there's this sort of little square area, maybe 15, 20 meters to towards the center of the compound, and there's a lamppost there, like right in the middle.
Yeah.
And there's some crates stacked there, and there's some tarp over it, and the wind and the rain has sort of slapped it back, and you can tell that there's a GCS logo on it, which wouldn't be that wouldn't surprise you or wouldn't be interesting at all if it wasn't for the fact that this is the logo that they use for their tech stuff instead of just their advertising commercial stuff.
Mhm.
And from your experience and from your previous dealings and whatever, that those crates with that particular logo on it, and it's like probably maybe some sort of shiny chrome stuff with some holographic shizzle in there as well, and maybe it's sort of like rotates, or it contains very, very valuable stuff, like resources that they use to maybe make chips or stuff like that. It'll be worth a lot, but it's out there in the open. But it's definitely worth a lot.
Cool. And there isn't looking around, there isn't a great question for this, but looking around, like, where are the guards? Are people paying much attention to me? Or
so
I'm
if you have
doing
that,
all the things that look
yeah,
right.
I understand. So if you have that sort of square area that I was talking about, and you have these containers, and there's all sort of angled towards the center with the doors, right? As being a sort of marketplace, and I think a couple of those are open, and you see some lights of cigarettes sort of lighting up, and some puffs of smoke from the inside. All in all, maybe 4 people in total in the square. They're probably guards. Doesn't look like they're paying a lot of attention. You hear some people talking maybe and some laughing or whatever. But doesn't seem as if they're actively sort of marching around and securing the areas, so to speak.
All right. I send I use my comms because I've got I bought comms, or I have comms. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we established that everyone sort of is in contact.
We've got this anyway. To tell Trip that I'm coming up to the crane control, so like hold off on moving the stuff until I get there. I'll be there. I'll be with you in a moment, and continue on that way.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Web doesn't hear this, of course.
No.
No.
Okay. Well,
We
that-
really
Web
need a way
does
to
have-
communicate.
Webb does have access to the crane cameras, right? So he has an overview of almost everything that's going on from the top.
So you'll see.
I am everywhere.
You'll
Yeah.
see me walking towards you, and presumably you're savvy enough to
so
realize that.
so we'll look into a camera and do sort of sign language.
That's possible.
It's almost not even necessary. I think we're professionals. We've
Yeah.
We've got the
worked together
plan worked
before.
out.
Well,
Yeah.
Amy and Trip are professionals. Not so sure.
No,
Web
but yeah, I mean, this is just something that you discussed, right? This is just something that's sort of, yeah.
We knew that you'd have vision, so you'd be able
Yeah.
to monitor the situation.
Okay, so let's move things along a bit.
Yeah.
Are you intending on doing anything with those crates, or do you want to wait and see?
The crates in the center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally am, but not yet.
Okay. So let's move to Web then. I think Web, what you see when you're inside the system is you've located Taki's 3 containers, like at least the ones that hold all this stuff, right?
Yep.
Not talking about the little sort of side area where he conducts his business. There's a black car that pulled up there, and there's a figure that comes out. You can't really tell who this because the camera's sort of angled from the top, and he moves inside, and there's 2 more people coming out of the car, and they're carrying guns. And
Is
those
there?
are the people coming out of the car, and then there's 4 people actively guarding the containers that you can see that are part of the research you've done. As you know that these are Taki's people,
Okay.
and then on on the sort of perimeter watch, there's one guy you've identified as also being Taki's guard. He's sort of doing the rounds in a sort of wider circle around the containers. So all in all, it's 5 guys, and then the 3 that arrived by car.
Okay.
What do you do? What's the plan?
The plan was that the guys would make some sort of distraction, which would draw the guards away, which means that I can then start working in that regard. So the plan, I believe, was, just I'm waiting for something to go on, or I mean, you say I'm like in the system, so I have access to the cameras and stuff, so I could probably see, maybe not like Trip, because Trip's like actually just on the roof of where I am, but I can see like the big truck, and I can see Silence.
Yeah,
and
you
Coast.
have like the top overview of the compound, basically.
So I think maybe we get that one shot where it's like we see like on one of the little screens inside the booth is like a camera sort of rotates and like focuses in on like that scene, just in front of where the truck is. I'm just watching for them to
See a signal or something.
to just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trip, Silence, and Amy, what have you got planned for a distraction? How
I
are you gonna get
imagine that distraction being Silence's modus operandi, that it's, the camera might show Silence just walking around the corner, heading towards sort of the area where those people are, and just literally bright lights, like on the back of her suit, bright lights going up, and then literally doing the documentary thing of, and here is where the goods are normally stored, just literally being a naive person wandering into the dangerous area with, Trip safely guarding her sort of nearby, just to literally get in, have their eyes on them, and then sort of go, wrong location, just turning around and trying to lure at least a couple of people along with her, like, hey, who is this person? What did she get on camera?
Yeah. So I think the moment you round the corner, so to speak, of one of the containers, and you get come into view of Taki's place. You see the car parked there, and you immediately get stopped by one of the guards. He's like, "Stay right there. Who are you? What are you doing?"
Oh, I'm here making a documentary. Weren't you informed this was all cleared with city
You are
planning?
not here. He sort of postures up a bit. He's like, "You are not here to make a documentary. I advise you to turn around."
I'm here to make a turn around. What do you mean turn around? I was supposed to have clear access throughout this entire area. I have a paper and everything. Just
So do you show him a paper?
yeah. I could easily show this sort of fake this city planning thing of full access. It's been filed with, I don't know, the local representative of the who knows what. Just literally this whole bit of text.
Yeah. This is not actual intel. It's a blatant lie.
This would basically be roughly, I would say, post-truth.
Okay, roll fast talk.
Can we? I was going to say, can we flash back to Amy having helped you forge something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
sounds
could.
good.
We could try. Yeah.
Does that, if I roll with my links, would that? I don't know if there's a mechanic for this, but is that the best way to do it?
Hmm.
I think that would make sense. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
I think so.
that
I think so. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, just I think it's this sort of scene of the two of them sitting together, Amy being able to get all the right things. Sans is going like, no, use this name. That guy's
Fail
that's
getting
big.
implicated just means that someone somewhere noticed that this is your handiwork.
Yeah. All right. No.
Oh dear, someone somewhere noticed that it's your.
God.
I'm gonna advance the legwork clock for that one. Actually, not yet, because nothing happened yet. Let's roll fast talk.
We're doing the fast talk, which is style. Where's my style? There's my style. Okay, let's see if we can get something done. Oh god. No forwards.
Same.
What is up today with all those rolls?
I mean, I'm doing fine. Webb's on top of his game.
Okay. Two things happen. This this guard smashes one of the lights that you have on, like with the butt of his gun. Sort of bashes it out. And a person emerges from the container, and it's Taki, who is informing, trying to find out what the fuck is going on and why the hell is there a person here with a camera and lights, and either shoot her or get rid of her. And this man indeed raises his weapon in your face. He's like, "This is your last chance. You need to go. You need to go now. Oh well, pull this trigger."
Silence runs. Just literally turns around and just runs like, holy shit! Just runs.
Webb has his hand up. Yes, Webb.
So so you say that Taki is in the container, like he's standing like in the doorway.
Well, he's walking out.
Taki is no longer an issue.
Saw him going in the container though.
You did saw someone go in. You didn't see his face. You
No?
couldn't tell who it was. No.
Damn.
I mean, you could
That's a
make
good
a
idea.
matrix roll to gain access to some other cameras, so you might have seen his face. I'm willing to give you that, but that's risky.
I mean, could I not have I've got the cameras, so could I not have seen? Because there was like a good at least half a minute then, where I saw Taki standing at least somewhat in the doorway of the container, being like, "Who's this? What's this? What's going on here?"
Okay. Sure, he's inside the container. You've seen his face.
Okay, so I think the moment I see his face and he's in the container, and I see that he's like going, haha, I'm thinking, oh shit, plan's gone south. Initiate plan B, which I've just come up with right now. Crane is going to maneuver its way over to... So here's the way I think... How does the crane operate? Is it like a grabber, or is it like, I don't know, like a magnetic sort of...
No, it's like two of those grabbers. So they sort of move down and they click onto the container, and it picks it back up. And then when you put it down, they sort of release again, right?
Okay.
It's like a sort of weight mechanic.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna... at the moment I see that he's in there, and I see that he's pointing guns at Silence, I'm thinking, plan's gone south, plan B, plan W. And I'm gonna try and grab hold of the container and lift it into the sky.
I mean, that works, right? There's no roll
Well,
required because that's your hold you had over the system.
Have that contain like the crane. Is
So
your-
Amy and Trip, you hear the crane moving.
this is
As far as you know,
Yeah.
there was no distraction yet. Trip, you do see. You can see from your perch, see what's going on. Amy, you have no idea what's going on, basically.
I mean, I'm presumably at the control.
Yeah, you hear the crane. That's the only thing you hear. You hear the crane move. I'm curious, what happens? What does Trip do when the crane starts moving and when he sees guns pointing at someone smashes the light of Silence's light and all that sort of went on?
Yeah. So Trip is not doing anything while Silence is being threatened because he doesn't want to give anything away.
Mhm.
He does see the crane moving, and the crane is so basically a container is being lifted up.
It's basically
Going to be.
the crane. I imagine this thing being in the center because then it'd be closest to wherever it wants to go, right? That's the
Well,
default.
I was thinking that like
And
the entire courtyard, like in the court, like there's a giant frame that's
Yeah.
built around the entire where it's like a system of like one bar that goes horizontal.
exactly. Yeah,
That way, and then the thing just sort of goes back.
The grabber is in the center of the compound, and it can just be moved to wherever you want.
Okay, yeah.
And you see it getting moved from the center of the compound to the, call it, northwest corner of the compound. And it's quite fast because we're in the future and these things will move fast. So yeah, you have like a sort of second decision to make, and you see the crane sort of shoot towards the container and get sort of lowered down onto Taki's container. That's
Is Taki inside the container or outside of the container?
inside the container.
Inside the container.
Yes.
Okay. I will train my sniper rifle onto the entrance of the container so that I can shoot anyone who chooses to come out of the container.
Okay, disembark container. Yeah, okay. Amy, do you take any action, or do you just assume that this is all part of the plan? You're muted.
I was just actually muted as opposed to like it being a problem. I muted myself. Good job. Yeah, I think Amy is like on comms and it's like, you're a little bit early. I'm not there yet. To Trip. What's going on? Presumably,
Trip will blurt out. Will
Yeah.
blurt out. Taki's here. He's inside one of the containers, and we're gonna move that one.
good job. All right. I'm gonna head that way then.
Okay. So you're moving towards where Silence is.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How high can the containers be lifted?
Quite high.
Right the
several-
ways up.
Several stories up.
Okay,
Like
and
if a container is about 2 meters, 2.5 meters high, and you can easily stack 4 on top of each other in the yard, then that's how high you can get.
Last time I've been in a harbor, they stack them higher than 4 high.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
things
let's
go
say
high.
15, maybe 15 meters high, maybe higher than that.
nice.
Basically, if you drop someone from that height, they die. That's what happens, and whatever gets dropped gets crushed and destroyed.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, my question is answered.
okay.
And I
So
think this is the
timing-wise-
implication everybody has. So as soon as this starts going on the comm, I think Silence sort of goes in like, "Look, I didn't agree to be part of a murder." Just whispering, and that's slightly elevated.
Timing wise, I think the grabbers latch onto the container the moment that's Amy sort of round the corner, which gives us all a good opportunity to act if we want, if something happens. Anyway, Webb, you successfully, I think Silence, you're being threatened with a weapon, and someone smash your light, and you see Taki sort of emerge from the container, standing. I think Trip can see him now as well in his sniper view. And Amy rounds the corner, and you round the corner into this scene that's just absurd, where there's multiple people with guns, all aimed at Silence, who's not really threatening at all. And you hear a clang of the crane's grabbers sort of full speed latch onto this container, and I think you see Taki, and maybe you even lock eyes for like half a second.
The briefest of seconds.
Like this recognition in both of your and you see him stumble back a bit into the container as this thing sort of slams into it. Do you immediately lift it up again, Webb? What do you do?
So here's the thing. So I've got container. Taki is in the middle. I've latched on. Now the guys, at least some of the guys, are outside of the container, in front of the container, currently pointing their guns at Silence, who is like backing off, going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
spin the container?
I've gone no. I've gone gunk like that on the container, and they're
Mhm.
like, "Huh? What's going on?"
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, Silence, I hope you have fast reaction speed, because I'm going to try and drag the container forward, scooping up the guys in front of him, and then try to time it so that once I've scooped them in, it raises itself up. And I'm going to try and do this. I'm like, maybe I'll have to do some sort of console cowboy hack here, but I want to bypass any like speed locks or safeties, so that so that this thing is, because usually these things would go
So
normal speed. I'm just going to go like
that's
fast
easy.
as
Just
possible.
spend one of your holds for your console cowboy, and I will give you that because it's amazing.
Yeah.
You realize
So
my cool is 0, right?
So here's what happens then. Because I think, Amy, you round the corner, you lock eyes with Taki. This thing clanks down and immediately sort of starts scooping up guys. There's sort of sparks around, from the ground. This thing charges at you in Silence now. What do you do?
Dive out the fucking way.
I think Webb, you managed to at least get 3 of these guys sort of inside this thing as well. The one who's trained his gun on Silence, we'll see about what happens with him. That leaves 2 more, I think. No, 1 more. One guy by the car probably with a gun, and then there's the one guy sort of doing the perimeter thing. So he's not here.
Okay.
So we've got Taki and 3 guys inside the container.
So it's
Being
an act
currently
under pressure
hoisted
for both of us,
upward.
right?
So you both roll act under pressure,
Okay.
because that's what you do when you get out of the way of a speeding container.
Oh god, here's a roll. Oh, God, of
No.
course.
No. Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you mine now. Let it be.
No, whoa, hold up. What did you roll? Actually, wait, never mind.
It's not.
No, it's not
Yeah,
low.
you can't make it first.
Because I have tech support, which is when I'm using something in the Matrix to help a team member, and I was like, well, because I could roll aid,
Yeah.
to try and
That's text.
lift up the thing
Ah.
before it even reaches you.
But you can't give 2. You can.
But
only
I can't give
one.
2. I can only give 1. So
All right. What about
I mean,
Amy?
I could roll aid for Amy.
Yeah, do it. Because I
Yeah.
need
Yeah,
help.
if you want.
And
roll
basically
your
that
thing.
means is that when when you help a team member, well, I'll broadcast it. I can roll mind instead of links.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
it's good. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And kablooey. Never mind.
It's a 6.
That's good. Yeah, not good.
2016.
All right.
All right.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna go and act under pressure now.
Yeah.
1 plus 1.
This is the day that Webb kills everybody.
Yes,
Oh no,
okay.
you're alive!
I got
So-
it.
So what happens? I think Amy, you see the container sort of whoosh over your head
Yeah.
as it's lifted just right in front of you. What happens to the guy with the gun and to Silence? I think the guy, has trained his weapon on Silence.
Can I
It's-
hang
it's-
on the container?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. He's going to get knocked. He's probably going to get knocked out completely. He's got a
Guy with the gun outside.
yeah. So you.
Okay.
So if you're here, then and Silence is here, and then the guy with the gun is there, and there's a container coming in, he just gets knocked out.
It clips.
It clips him, and he's probably dead instantly.
Yeah.
Silence, you sort of get
Knocked in the
like,
waist and then.
and you sort of manage to hang on to this thing, And what you just take, you at least need to take harm for this. Take 1 harm, and we'll do the harm roll in a second.
Let's see. That is putting it at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. And in a flash, you see the inside of the container. There's stuff sort of jumbling around, and there's these guys rolling around, trying to hang on to stuff. Taki's on the floor with his gun out, like he's got like a handgun. And these 3 other guys are desperately trying to cling onto some rigging or whatever. Everything's fucked. And you're hanging there, and you need to make a harm roll.
Okay. Do we need to add any modifiers or anything?
No, you roll. Yeah, you just click roll harm.
Roll harm.
it's-
Harm suffered. That is 1 then, right? What? Let me
I don't actually
broadcast
know how
that.
this works. Let's see.
I
Harm
think-
suffered. Yeah, 1. Yeah.
See, I've 1, so I roll a harm. Harm suffered, not 10. 1.
All right. So I need to. Did I
Oh,
not add the? This is not good.
not good. You want to roll low,
Hmm.
or at least in Apocalypse World you do.
Let's see. There it is.
It's-
This one.
That, that's the evening for it.
So when you suffer harm, you don't have any armor. Fill in the segments, and then you roll. And you roll a 7.
Mm-hmm.
On a 7 to 9, the MC will choose 1. You lose your footing, you lose your grip, and you lose track of someone or something you're tending to. Someone gets to drop on you. Okay. So this thing slams into you, and you're being lifted up into the air. And you have nothing to clang on, you sort of hang on to. And I think you sort of feel your grip. Everything's wet from the rain as well, because the container's been opened. So the whole floor is wet, and your hands are wet. And you just sort of slide back down. And, you lose your grip on the container as you fall down to the ground.
Can I suggest that would actually be an amazing cliffhanger moment? Just literally camera inside the container looking out, and you just see Silence go.
Yeah.
Just-
yeah. Okay, that's nice.
Oh,
And then we get these sort of like the 24 style clips at the end of the episode where we see Trip watching through training sniper rifle on maybe the guy at the car, right? And we see Webb sort of slumped in the control room with his eyes going. sort of
Hang on,
like a
no.
rapid eye
Whoever,
movement.
no, I think in this, it goes through everyone else first, and then it goes. Then the last one is where he's sort of like doing, yeah, and then it's sort of a quick camera zoom into like his head, and then we get the vision of where he's at, and he's literally just standing in front of a little joystick, just going like this, and there's the Tetris music playing.
Yeah. And I think we see Amy sort of ducked under the thing. Maybe you have your gun out, maybe not. We don't know. And then we see Silence sort of clamber and sort of the Gandalf style arms.
Yeah, fly, you fools! Or in this
And
case,
that's
die,
where-
you fools!
That's where we get the ashes to ashes, chrome to rust sort of logo fade into the screen as we end the episode.
very nice. Oh,
Nice. Nice.
literal cliffhanger. Well, close enough.
I feel you
Container
guys.
hanger.
If only
You
it
guys
were.
really need Bishop for these kinds of things.
This is what happens when Bishop's not around.
Secretly, I think it's kind of more fun when secretly. Like, I don't want to, like
It's a lot of fun.
complications of what makes it
See?
interesting.
Yeah.
And this exact situation is why I made the crane. Best investment I've ever made.
Let's see.
We don't do anything at the end of the session.
No, we don't. No, I am advancing the action clock for this.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be able to argue that you should.
So yeah, we don't get any additional XP or anything because not a lot has happened apart from you guys deciding on how to do it and then failing miserably at doing that. You're getting close though. You almost have his stock. Oh, you don't have his stock. You have him in his.
And a bunch of his stock.
Yeah, a bunch
We
of
like He's no longer in control of it.
Well, no, here's the thing, right? We still have the other two containers which are on the floor. Most of his guards are incapacitated, and he is out of the picture, and this
Right.
could just be the one that we
I
don't
think
need.
this might be the sacrificial container along with
Yeah.
everything.
Look, this is just the episode that ends up, developing Silence's character as a paraplegic. So, I'm just waiting for what's going to happen next time.
It's cool. Like, we've got great medical technology. It comes at a cost.
I mean, there's a lot of corporations who are very much willing to give you your cyber legs.
hmm I mean, if anything, think of it this way: you gave, what was his name, for the bloody Ron Burgundy man, his, a story.
Butt.
That's the one. Thank you. The story of, there's something shady going down. This could go even more into, local news reporter was injured in freak accident.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just hoping for next session it starts with Bishop suddenly jumping with a little rocket-powered jet, picking her up, shooting Taki in the head, and just landing in and going, amateurs.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, Bishop has the move to enter a scene, doesn't he?
He has one hold on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
can't-
like, bend
can't
the
be-
whole
So if he wanted, he could just, pop up in Taki's container.
It has to be within reason, I think.
I mean, catching Silence so she doesn't get hurt during the fall. Yes, definitely. Right? He's just there.
Let's see.
Inside the container, I don't know. Flying a helicopter with miniguns shooting at the container, yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for playing, guys. It was a bit of a slow episode, maybe, but it's good to get back into it.
Alright, let's chew the scenery. It's actually fun to do that. Like,
Mhm.
like
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Um,
mean, at any rate, we sort of had to do 2 legwork phases almost because we
Yeah.
had people who this time thought of new things, or perhaps we had a player that wasn't there last time, so we had to
Yeah.
retread a lot of ground. But other than that, I mean, it could have gone a lot longer. It could have
Yeah.
done, but it didn't. We still managed to get a decent,
Yeah. Okay, kicking it back to you, Veronica.
Oh, thank you so much for hosting, and then thank you everybody for playing. I'm not sure if there's anything anybody wants to plug right now. Get out there. I mean, we've done some intros at starts. Fub, no, Kuthor, no. Alex, anything you want to throw out?
I'm no, not at this point in time.
I figured we did most of the intros already. Jackson, I'm assuming we'll possibly see some Bloodborne somewhere in the future, maybe.
I was thinking of streaming now, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to do Bloodborne. Maybe Uncharted. I don't know. No, I can't because I need to install it. Never mind. No, don't look me up. Don't find me. I don't stream.
Don't exist.
That's some reverse psychology marketing. Don't look me up. Just in fact, don't look at my name. Don't look at my name. Get away.
yeah. It's all right.
Okay.
Jex is going back to his roots of streaming where he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I guess.
In that case, thanks so much everyone for being around. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will be back Saturday 7th, where I think we're finishing Human Revolution, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and then
Most
probably
definitely, yes.
cool. And then on the 8th, we'll be starting Deus Ex Mankind, something or other. I don't.
Probably on the 11th we'll have the Sprawl again.
Yep, and that will be 2 weeks from now, so that would be really nice. We'll see how this cliffhanger ends. Hopefully not in a splat.
Oh, one quick thing. Hack the planet!
Every time.
I thought maybe he would just forget.
Oh, and then we see the Feel Bad Man pillow, and that's exactly how I feel now. It's just
See ya on the 7th.
All right, guys, it's been fun.